Well, that's what. Yeah, that's fair. That because she wet her bed, that the mother or father got so angry that they struck her and killed her. No, I don't buy it. Come on, you're gonna bedwetting. You're gonna whack your. No, I don't believe that for one moment. My God, they're not savages.
No.
They are decent, educated people.
But I have read several accounts, and being a parent of 4 girls, and I know how angry you can get. Obviously, I've never ever hit my child for doing things for bedwetting.
8.5-inch fracture.
But
you're talking
busting
about
their head open like that. But the thing is that I have read accounts that there have been cases where that is between the ages of, but it's usually between the ages of 2 and 4 years of age is when when children are found to have been abused or placed in scalding hot water because of bedwetting incidents. So.
Well, we've all encountered that. Jeff, you and your police business and I in forensic pathology. In fact, I am involved in a case quite recently. Somebody called me a question of whether a child was deliberately immersed in hot water or whether it was an accidental splattering of hot water. So, yeah, we're familiar. We're both familiar with that. But and we're also familiar with the psychological profile too of a child that may be abused in some way too.
Correct.
That continues to engage in. But I'm not going to engage because that is not psychological nonsense, but it is conjecture and it is an individual nature. I'm not going to speculate that because that she had been abused and that's why she was a bedwetter. I'm not going to say that because I have no basis for that at all. I'm going to stick with the scientific facts and I've laid them out and I've read to you. I've told you what's in the autopsy report about the fracture, about the very small amount of blood associated with that huge fracture. Talked about the particular findings in the genitalia area, which are clearly evidence of things that have happened before. These are things which are present in the autopsy report that have never been challenged by anybody. So then they don't, some things don't require interpretation, and to the extent that they need to be interpreted, do not lend themselves to differences of opinion.
Right. We're down to probably less than 10 minutes here, Dr. Weck. We're talking about mortal evidence and, of course, Who Killed JonBenet Ramsey, written by Dr. Cyril Reck. I want to bring everybody up to speed. It's 2009. I did try to reach Stanley Garrett, the new prosecuting attorney in Boulder, Colorado. Cyril, with what you're hearing or if you've heard anything at all, will this case proceed? Do you think we'll ever get any closure on that? And I want to talk about mortal evidence because you mentioned Dr. Henry Lee. He wrote your foreword in this book. But talk about the reopening of this case. What do you think we'll find out and will we get anywhere?
I regret to say, and I would love to be proven wrong, but I must give you a realistic answer, and that is I do not think that anything is going to happen. Keep in mind, as you've pointed out, if some of your viewing, listening audience is not aware, Patsy Ramsey is dead.
Yeah, she passed away.
So now you have just John Ramsey. So now you don't have a situation in which we'll lean on A, you will lean on B, or so on. So John Ramsey, that's all he has to do is stick with the story that he has told before, and that's it. And the evidence is there, and they did not choose to run with it then or in subsequent years, and so on. So I doubt very much that anything is ever going to happen. I'll tell you this, they're never going to find any intruder because there was no intruder, okay? And I don't believe that anything is going to happen.
It's like
this is not. I'm not criticizing. In fact, I'm pleased that they are looking into this and that they have established an ad hoc review committee, so to speak. They should be commended for doing that. But do I really believe that it is going to lead to anything? No. I mean, the evidence is there. And if they did not act upon it then, why should we believe that they're going to act upon it now?
And Dr. Henry Lee wrote your foreword.
Yeah, Henry and I are very good friends.
Yep.
And so, and ask, Henry will tell you about the DNA stuff. It's sheer nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
You're absolutely right, Dr.
There have been several. I mean, how many books have been written about this case now? At least, I can think of.
I don't know. I have no way of.
It's got to be hundreds.
There's several different accounts. Officers were writing books about what, and then you had the prosecutor, and then you had several different people coming out with their versions of everything. So that when I bring up different facts about or different things that I've read, that's what I was talking about earlier. Several, one had, the father did it because of this. One version had the mother doing it because of this. Then they brought the brother into it. They brought all these different people into it. The Santa Claus guy. They brought now that you get the guy from.
Oh, well, they, as we've said before, Jeff and Joe, they were not the least bit hesitant about trying to dump on people. It really was disgraceful, just absolutely disgraceful.
I'm surprised they haven't thrown you under the bus yet, Dr. Weck.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there, but they ran out of their
Neither was John Mark Carr.
They ran out of their John Mark cars. They ran out of their disgruntled employees at the company that John Ramsey owned, and so on. So I guess they have no more people to point the finger at, and they'll continue to say they're looking for the intruder, right? Yeah.
We talked about Steve Thomas, who wrote a book on this. I've talked to police officers who worked with him, former bosses of his. They give him an A+ as a police officer, fabulous detective, and he was really drugged through the mud.
Oh, I was on a program with Steve Thomas at I think it was Aspen, a summer program for homicide detectives from Colorado and elsewhere, and we had a chance to talk, and we called and corresponded with each other for a while too. It's been a while since I've spoken with him, but it is just a disgrace what they did to him. They tried to destroy him. Again, here's Lynn Wood come into the picture and threatening him and so on. And I do not know where he is, what he's doing, and so on. I hope you might be successful in locating him.
Well, we know he was a successful police officer, and he'll land on his feet. That's for sure. So it looks like we'll probably get no closure on this, at least in the near future, Dr. Weck.
I do not believe so. And of course, when you say the near future, and remember, who else you have out there. So if you're if they don't make a move here, and as far as I'm concerned, you've got John Ramsey. So against whom will a move be made? And with Patsy out of the picture, and John Ramsey not having to be the least bit concerned, therefore, about what she's going to say, and the prosecution, even if they are very, very sincere and genuinely interested in doing something, they've got to live with Patsy Ramsey's statements from before, and all of that which went unchallenged. What are they going to do now? Posthumously challenge it and dig her up from the grave and accuse her of lying? You see what I mean? So it's over and done with.
And most homicides are solved within the first 48 hours, just like the TV show.
Yeah, exactly
and they all look at it. You say, "Wow, you have these people here. We did. This is what it all points to. The forensic science shows."
Eric, I want to repeat this. This is important, Jeff, apropos of what you were just saying right now. For anybody that may have tuned in late, and it bears repeating, that the Ramseys were never individually
interviewed,
right?
As people who are, let us say, certainly there's a cloud of suspicion that can be reasonably stated when you have adults in a home with no evidence of anybody else being there. I mean, my God. And
thank you, Dr. Weck. We're out of time.
Absolutely.
You can reach us at rightfromtheauthor@yahoo.com or 586-258-2000. If you have a question for Dr. Weck, I'll certainly send it on to him. Dr. Weck, thank you. We will talk to you during the coming week. We're working on a great show, Fatal Vision. Thank you so much, Dr. Weck.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Good night.
That'll do it for Right from the Author. For Jeff Hansen, I'm Joe Cochran. Please join us next time. We hope to have Fatal Vision, Jeffrey McDonald case. We'll see you next time.